Hey everyone, it's Rich. With the release of the new MacBook Pro featuring the M1 chip, I wanted to give you guys my honest opinions about it from a student perspective. And rather than giving you a dreaded 20-minute long video about it, I wanted to make it short and sweet and to the point. Now, I've seen a lot of these videos about the MacBook Pro by these tech YouTubers, and they seem a little bit too critical about it, talking about how the touch bar is the same, the design is the same, and like nothing's new, but I wanted to focus more on the overall picture of this MacBook and how this performs for me as a student and ultimately how it performs for you. So stick to the end of the video where I'll give you my honest and complete thoughts about it. So with all that being said, let's get right into it. The latest MacBook Pro with the M1 chip retains basically the same 4th generation design of the Pro model since 2016, and for anyone that isn't too tech savvy, probably the most distinctive feature of the Pro that sets this apart from his younger brother, the MacBook Air, is the addition of the touch bar and the added fans for additional cooling. We'll talk about that a little later. The MacBook Pro can easily be opened thanks to its one finger opening lid, which gives it a nice extra bonus. It has a signature aluminum design that we expect from Apple that not only feels premium, but actually feels like you're getting your money's worth. The Pro is also rocking the same beautiful 13.3-inch 2560 by 1600 Retina display, which I can certainly say, as a student, helps with the workflow of assignments or projects. Whether I'm writing essays for classes, editing pictures or videos on this machine, or even simply browsing the web, having a nice display is just pleasing to the eye. The Pro still rocks 2 USB-C ports, both supporting Thunderbolt 3 charging and video output, as well as a headphone jack located on the right side. If you're going to be using this laptop, you're going to be on the dongle life like us. The Magic backlit keyboard has made a return, which makes typing feel very premium, and the fingerprint ID, which also acts as a power button, has become a standard with Apple laptops in the past few years, which makes signing in much faster. The speaker rails are on both sides of the laptop and they always sound wonderful. They also get pretty loud. And lastly, the giant force-sensitive trackpad has always got to be my favorite trackpad on any laptop so far. So let's talk about performance. Performance of this specific MacBook is utilizing Apple's new M1 silicon chip. The whole getting away from using Intel CPU chips is nothing new for Apple now, and for people who may be out of the loop, I'll fill you in. Before, Apple always used to depend on Intel to make their CPU chips for their Macs, but they were seriously held back by them because of their limitations. There were a lot of thermal problems, the parts weren't working harmoniously together, Apple was losing efficiency by, underselling their batteries. I talked about this a little bit in my MacBook Air video. Well, gone is that, and here is the new M1 chip on the MacBook Pro. Using this laptop for everyday tasks like browsing the web, FaceTiming friends, working on research papers, to even bigger projects like video editing is pretty impressive. With the new M1 chip, you can expect a speedy and efficient workflow. You can browse as many tabs as you want without having any noticeable slowdowns, and for the average student, it works freaking amazing. Now, I wanted to take this a step further and see how much I can push the Pro. So I decided to edit some 4K clips with my camera, and things started to get a little bit muddy. I edit on DaVinci Resolve, and it's a power-hungry editing tool. I noticed my timeline started to slow down a bit, and when I wanted to add simple effects like transitions or text graphics, that's when the Pro started to reach its limits. Also, the fan started to kick in, the laptop got really loud, and it was kind of hot to touch. Now, through a couple more research, I noticed that it wasn't the M1 chip necessarily that was holding the Pro back. It was more of the 8GB RAM and the SSD that's on the base model, which I have here. So for example, my clips weren't caching, the thumbnails weren't really appearing all the time. And bottom line is, if you're gonna be doing some serious stuff on this MacBook, I recommend getting the higher trim model, like the 16GB version with the 512 SSD. And you might as well get the 15-inch version as well. But for a normal user, this is perfectly fine. With all that power, the battery life on this MacBook Pro is very incredible. Apple advertises that this thing can last up to 18 hours on a full charge, and they really mean it. Like, I used this MacBook for 3 days now and I haven't charged it. It's actually sitting at 33% now. And give or take, my usage is around 3 to 6 hours. I left it on while watching some videos, playing music, and editing some photos on it. Alright, and as a college student, I actually value the portability of this laptop a lot. Now, it may not be super thin like its younger brother, the MacBook Air. This laptop only weighs 3 pounds. So carrying this laptop around the house, campus, or in your backpack feels very light. There's hardly no noticeable weight difference when I pack it, so that's a major plus for me. Okay, and if you made it this far in the video, either you like me a lot, or you just kind of want to see what I think about this laptop. I'll address some important things first. So, the touch bar. The touch bar, in my honest opinion, is very great. While it is still the same from 2016, if I was Apple, I literally would not have changed a thing either. Everything works great for me. The color is accurate, the touch bar works phenomenally. I'm not so sure why so many were complaining about it being the same, because, if it ain't broke for now, don't fix it. What about the touchscreen? That's an age-old question that has been asked for decades. I mean, they have the iPad Air for that. If they added touchscreen on the MacBooks, I think a lot more problems would occur, and I don't think Apple wants to deal with that for now. They have a really great laptop right here. I think the MacBook Pro featuring the M1 chip is a great purchase for students or any other person who's looking for a great laptop in general. Everything from the design, the touch bar, and retina display, to the powerful M1 chip capable of handling most usage without getting too intense, just proves that this laptop is worth considering. The power is definitely there. Anyways, tell me in the comment section down below what you think of this laptop. I kind of want to hear your thoughts. I do read all of your comments, so feel free to say hi if you want. And anyways, that's all I have for today's video. So until next one, I'll see you then.